Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Zapier for Companies webinar. My name's Katie, and I'll be moderating today's event. We have some really great content for you here today, and I'm super excited to share it with you all. But before we get started, I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items. First of all, this webinar is going to be recorded, and you'll get an email with the recording after the webinar, so look out for that. We're hoping to send that out tomorrow. And next, all attendees are muted, but if you do have questions, please put them in the Q&A box, and we'll get to those at the end of the demo. We recommend putting them in the question and answer box versus the chat box because they'll get answered quicker. Lastly, there's going to be a survey at the end of the demo, and we'd love it if you could fill it out and give us any feedback that you might have, just so we can improve our future webinars. All right, so let's get started. I would like to introduce our speaker, Geoghegan. He is the lead product manager at Zapier and has worked here for about 4 years. And he's going to start with a quick overview of Zapier and then jump into the 7 reasons to use Zapier for companies. Remember, you can ask all the questions you want in the Q&A panel at the bottom of your screen, and we will either answer them at the end of the demo, or we'll have our team on the line get those answered in real time. All right, and with that, I'm going to let Chris take it away. Thanks, Chris.
All right, thanks, Katie. I'm excited to be with you all today, sharing more about Zapier for Companies. First off, thank you for taking the time to learn more. We know you're busy, and that's exactly the problem we want to help you solve. Over the next 20 minutes, I want to give you a brief introduction to Zapier, and then dive right into 7 different reasons why Zapier for Companies might be a fit for you and your organization. Wherever it's possible, I'm going to jump right into the product and show you how the features work. But first, what is Zapier? Simply put, we're a tool that allows you to connect your favorite web apps to each other and then move information between them automatically. If you haven't used Zapier yet, this could be something as simple as connecting your leads to a Slack channel so you get pinged the second you get a new lead. We've also seen customers build entire systems on Zapier that were used to automate their marketing stack or onboard new customers or make information sharing across their teams just easier. Really, the possibilities are endless. And on that note, we connect to over 2,000 apps. We support apps from Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and many others. So whether you're in HR or finance, sales or marketing support or IT, there's a good chance that the apps that you use on a regular basis are supported by Zapier. To browse the full catalog of apps that we support, just head to zapier.com/apps, and you can search or browse from there. But why Zapier? We asked our customers, and they told us that on average, Zapier saves them 2.25 minutes per task. That might not seem like a lot, but when you multiply that by hundreds of thousands of tasks being run every month, that's a lot of time. But it's not just time we're saving for our customers. We're hearing that Zapier is enabling people and their teams to do things that they never could have done before. That might be because Zapier empowers people who aren't software developers to do things that could only previously be done by somebody with a computer science degree. I like Samir's quote here. He says, Zapier is like having an engineer in your pocket, someone that can take 2 completely different apps and then have them talk to each other. Or it might be that automating the mundane but important tasks in your day actually frees you up to focus on the work that really matters. Using Zapier means more time focusing on the things that really move the needle forward. Getting that passion project done, maybe. Being able to spend more time on your roadmap, or researching new lead gen channels, and a myriad of other things. The idea behind Zapier for Companies is that you can empower your whole organization to work in this way. So with that, let's dig into 7 reasons to make this switch. Reason number 1, give the right people access. Have you ever been using a software application and then noticed your old coworker's account who shouldn't have access anymore? Or are you tired of being pestered to get access to your company's Zapier account? With Zapier for Companies, we have 2 features that help address these problems: single sign-on and user provisioning. These features make it possible to ensure the right people have access while making sure your IT and security teams feel peace of mind. Single sign-on allows you to manage your company's users from one centralized location. This might be G Suite or Okta or OneLogin. And if I didn't mention your company's identity provider, there's still a good chance we support them because Zapier works with any identity provider that uses SAML or SAML, which is the most common standard for single sign-on. User provisioning is another feature that makes ensuring the right people have access to Zapier is a breeze. With this feature, you can add people to your Zapier account when they join your company and then remove them when they leave your company. You can make sure that they're part of the right groups and have the correct permissions. And you can do this all from your in-house identity provider, like I mentioned before. When someone leaves your company, their Zapier account will automatically be deactivated, and their Zaps will be transferred to the owner of the account. So you can make sure that any business critical workflows that you have set up run continuously. While we're on the topic of adding and removing members, I just want to take a moment to point out that Zapier for Companies doesn't charge per seat or member. You can add as many members as you like at no additional cost. Reason number 2, let's keep your team together. It's possible that there's people at your company already using Zapier and you don't know it, and they don't know you have a company account. With a feature we call account capture, we make it easy to identify those accounts and consolidate everyone under a single account. Here's how it works. You tell us which email domains you own. We'll walk you through a few simple steps to verify that you own them, and then we'll provide you with a report of everyone at those domains using Zapier. In this way, you can make sure that all your employees are operating out of one place under a single bill with all of the security policies and permissions that you set. But enough talking about it, let me just show you how it works. We're gonna hop over to our Zapier account here. And when you first open it up, you'll land on a dashboard that looks like this. In the upper right corner, you can click on Settings and navigate to your security dashboard, which is something that you'll have available if you start a company trial or if you're on the company plan. And from here, we can see a few different options. We can see how many domains that we have verified or are pending. We can see the apps that we have restricted. We can see if single sign-on's been configured, user provisioning, and data retention. These are all features that I'll show a little bit more of in the upcoming demo. But first, let's dig into domains. It looks like we have 3 domains. At least one of them is pending. At the top of the page here, you can click through to see more documentation and get specific instructions on how to set up domains for your account. This is handy to send off to your IT team who might be doing this for you. And you can see down below, we've actually verified 2 domains. These are obviously fictitious. And then we've got one here that needs verification. So let's click through and see what that looks like. So for this domain that needs verification, there's 2 ways to do this. And the simplest way, if you're a G Suite user, is simply to click the Verify with Google button. And they'll walk you through a few quick steps to verify that you own the domain. If you aren't a G Suite user, no worries. There's a few other options for you. Click Verify manually, and you'll be shown 3 options that you can set up your domain. I won't go through each of these in detail, but it's as easy as either following these steps or copying and pasting it into an email and sending it off to your IT team to set it up for you. But once we've verified a domain, what do we do with it? Let's go back here, look at one of the domains that we have verified. We'll use this one, boteconomy.com. And you can see here that there's 2 accounts. One is my account here as the owner of this. You can see I've confirmed my email address and I'm part of the team. And then you can also see that there's a second member here that hasn't joined the team. And I can see how long they've been a member for, how many tasks they've used. And imagine there's a longer list here. You can export all these members into a CSV so that you can make it, so that it makes it easy to email these folks to ask them to enable multi-factor authentication or join your corporate company account. All right, let's hop back over to reason number 3. As the number of people using Zapier grows, you'll want to be able to manage who has access to what. This might mean that when someone joins your HR team, making sure they have access to all the relevant HR apps. Or it might mean making sure that your mission critical workflow that you just created is only editable by a few trusted people. Either way, our team workspaces makes this easy. Here's how it works. You create groups of people, for example, engineering or premier support. Then you can assign which Zaps, connected accounts, and apps that group has access to. It's a great way to keep your account organized and also allows you to spend less time managing permissions. Let's hop back into the app to show how that works. So from the settings page, I'm going to click on Teams on the left-hand side here. And you can see a few of the teams that we have set up, how many members they have, and I can click through and actually add members, remove members, or make any changes to the group itself. Let's go ahead and add a team and see what that's like. I'll use, for example, what if we wanted to set up a team for this webinar? A group of people that are working on Zaps related to this webinar, and I only want access for those people. I'm going to give it the name webinar, and then I'm going to add a short description here of team of people working on the Zapier for Companies webinar, and I'm going to hit Save Changes. Then I'm going to add the first member, which will just be me. You can type in the name or the email address, and you'll see an autocomplete list that pops up. There we go. We've added our first member. Now you can see that this team shows up there. Click through, and there's the member. Now I'm going to close out of settings and show you what this looks like on My Zaps page. So here we have My Zaps, which shows you the list of private folders that you have access to and all the Zaps that are in it, and the shared folders that you have access to and all the Zaps that you have in it. And you can see here that I've created a folder called Webinar, and it already has one Zap in it, and it's shared with, it doesn't have any sharing permissions set on it yet. So I'm going to click this gear icon and click Share With. And now I can start typing in individual names or email addresses of people that I want to share with. But now that I have this team set up, I can just type in webinar. There it is. There's my webinar group with the webinar team with the one member. I will add that. And now anybody I add to that team will automatically have access to that folder. Let's show how that works with connected accounts or my apps as well. So I have this Zoom account down here that I want to make sure is only shared with people in the webinar group. So I'll click shared, and I could share with everyone or email or by email to share with specific people. But again, I'm just going to type in webinar and share with that specific team. Now anybody I add to that webinar team will have access to this connected account, and only they will have access to it. All right, coming back to the next reason. We know that data privacy is important to you, and it's always been important to us as well. With recent legislation like GDPR and the California Consumer Privacy Act, this becomes even more important, and so do our obligations for protecting customer data. At the same time, it's often very helpful to send customer data through Zapier from one app to another, but now you have yet another place where customer data can live. We want to make this easy for you to manage. Let me take a step back and speak a little bit about how we store data. Task history, as you can see here in the screenshot on the left, is where you can find the logs of the data that we have received or sent each time a Zap runs. As a member of the team or company, you can see the tasks for the Zaps that you have access to. To read more about how we protect and secure this data, you can go to zapier.com/security, and we provide many more details on exactly how we keep this all secure for every account. But now with that information, let's take a quick look at custom data retention and how that can be helpful. With custom data retention, you can set the data retention period anywhere from 7 to 90 days. This feature makes it easy to meet your agreements with customers or other obligations around data retention. Let's say, for example, a customer reaches out to you and wants you to delete all their data. You need to make sure that happens in Zapier too, not just on your own products. So you can be sure that we haven't kept it beyond the retention period that you set, whether that's 7 days, 30 days, or 90 days. You get to decide how long the data lives in Zapier. Hopping over to the app, you saw this already, but I'll just point it out. If you go to settings, you can find it under the security dashboard. It's just as simple as dragging the slider back and forth and hitting the update button to save your changes. Reason number 5, more control. Maybe you're thinking, I'd like to share Zapier with everyone at my company, but maybe Zapier is just too powerful. I mean, after all, it connects to over 2,000 apps. No problem, we've got you covered here. You can restrict or block access to apps on Zapier for everyone, just certain groups or certain individuals. We've seen this help companies feel more comfortable opening up Zapier to more people at their organizations. Perhaps there's a particular CRM you'd like only your marketing ops teams to be able to connect to. Or perhaps you'd like to block posting to Facebook for everybody at your company. This way you don't have to be looking over everyone's shoulders. Let me show a quick example of what this looks like. So from our security dashboard, we see app restrictions, and it looks like we're already restricting 3 apps. If we click through, we see that Asana and MailChimp are restricted for all users, but Trello here has one exception. If we click through to that, we can see that Trello can only be used by people in the engineering team. Let's add an app. Going back to our webinar example, let's say we only want the webinar team to be able to access Zoom. We can just type in Zoom here, add that restriction. And now this app, Zoom, is restricted for all of our users. Nobody can use it. If we want to make an exception, we can either type in their email or name for a specific person, or we can type in that team that we created earlier. Try that one more time. And there we go. The webinar team has been added so that they can use Zoom. And anybody who's added to that team can now use Zoom. Number 6 isn't unique to companies just yet, but I want to share a new feature that we launched that I think will be particularly relevant for this group. Our new reporting feature allows you to see a list of top automations. You can filter by member, folder, or apps being used. That gives you a lot more visibility into what's happening inside of your Zapier account. You have access to this right now, so after the webinar, feel free to go ahead and dig in. Let me show you what that looks like. We're going to close out settings. We're going to navigate to our task history here. And at the top of the page, you'll see this new bar that says, did you know your top automated, your top Zap automated 92 tasks this month, or whatever it is for you. And if you click on that banner, you'll be taken to this new top Zaps report. And this will show you a list of the Zaps in your account that sorted by the number of tasks automated. You can filter this by date range, for example, this month, last month, or the current billing period. You can filter by owner, for example, just show me my Zaps or a specific person. We can filter by the folder that the Zaps are in, and we can also filter by the app. For example, if you wanted to see all of the Zaps that are connecting to Slack, you could simply type in Slack, and you would be able to see all the Zaps that are sending or receiving information from Slack. This is a feature, this is a part of the product that we're actively working on, and you can expect to see more updates coming soon, especially for the company plan. And if you have ideas or feedback, we'd love to hear from you. So to conclude, I want to share a brief customer story about a company where Zapier kind of grew through the entire company. It's about a company called Outbrain, and odds are you know them even if you don't realize it. When you finish reading our article online, you usually see several recommended links, some from websites you're on, some that are targeted at you based on your search habits. Outbrain helps publishers and advertisers create these recommendations. The story of Outbrain and Zapier is interesting because it started with a very specific and simple Zap. Yanov, a senior online acquisition manager at Outbrain, first started using Zapier to manage leads. They wanted a way for their sales team to reach out as fast as possible. So they started using Zapier's integration with Facebook lead ads to push those directly into Salesforce. And with just a few simple Zaps, Yanov cut hours of work and a lot of headaches, cut out a lot of hours for his team and a number of headaches. But the story doesn't end there. Yanov and the marketing team soon saw new potential ways Zapier could be used. They started adding information to leads using Zapier and Clearbit. They used Zapier to add leads to the corresponding email marketing campaigns. They set up integrations with live chat, webinar registration, landing pages, Zoom, and a myriad of other applications. Because of this team's success, other teams started to learn about Zapier. Next, it was adopted by the support team, and then the IT team. And before Yanov knew it, there's people across the company who were using it, and the impact of Zapier had grown beyond what he'd expected. Putting this all together, all of the features that we've talked about today, Outbrain was able to make Zapier available to their whole company because of these features. They were able to save time and do things that they couldn't do before while having more control over their data, their security, and their business critical workflows. Before I finish, I just want to let you know you can sign up for a free 14-day trial of companies. There's no credit card required. Just go to zapier.com/companies to get started. Thank you everyone for taking the time to listen to this webinar. Now I'd like to make sure that you have time to ask us any questions. I'll be available to answer questions for the next 10 minutes or so. And I've got a few colleagues, Caleb, Nick, and Saifa, who are also on the webinar, who might be able to help answer those questions as well. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Katie.
Thanks, Chris. That was awesome. So now we're going to turn it over to questions. But before we do that, I just want to remind all of you that this was recorded and we'll be sending this out to you. Also, once you exit, you'll see a survey pop up, and we'd love to get your feedback on this webinar and demo, and so we can improve our future webinars. Also, yeah, okay, so now let's just jump to questions. So our first question that we have in is, can a user be a member of more than one team?
Absolutely. Yes, you can. There's unlimited number of teams that you can have as part of your company account, and you can add as many people. People can be as part of many different teams. It's really just sort of groups that you can create on the fly.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next question is, how does the pricing work?
Yeah, with Zapier for Companies, the pricing starts at $5.99, and with that you get 100,000 tasks per month. If you need more tasks than that, we have different bundles of tasks which you can select from the pricing page. They get broken down at 100,000 tasks, 200,000 tasks, 500,000 tasks, 1 million, and 2 million. If you're on the 2 million task plan for companies, if you need more than 2 million tasks, that's no problem at all. We just charge you per task that you use beyond 2 million. If you have any questions, specific questions about pricing, feel free to reach out to our team. We'd be more than happy to talk through any of those questions that you've got.
Great. All right, looks like another one is, can you restrict members from creating private Zaps?
Great question. At this point in time, there isn't the capability to do that, but that is something that we have heard from customers and something that we're considering on our roadmap. So if you have feedback on that, we'd love to hear from you. But yeah, right now, that's not a possibility.
Great. All right, keep your questions coming. Okay, and how again do I sign up for the Zapier for Companies free trial?
Good question. If you go to zapier.com/companies, you see it right here on the slide, zapier.com/companies, there should be a big blue button on that page that will help you, that will walk you through getting started with that trial. If you have any trouble with it, again, don't hesitate to reach out to our team.
Great. All right. Please put your questions in the Q&A if you have any others. All right, we also have support at zapier.com. If you have any technical questions that you need help with, you can email them. And I think that is all the questions we have right now. But please feel free to reach out to us and look out in your email. We'll be sending out the recording, and we'll also send you a link to this free trial. Geo, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think we got one more question in here that might be a good one to answer. Is there a difference between the team plan and the company plan? Wouldn't mind answering that one really quickly if we've got a second. We do have a page on our website that compares this. Katie, are we able to see the screen that I just pulled in?
Yep.
All right. So maybe we can share the link in the chat here, but if you search for the difference between Zapier for Companies and Team Plan, you'll get the full documentation on it. But the main difference between teams and companies is that teams effectively allows you to share unlimited apps with unlimited members, whereas teams and where the company plan includes all the features that I went over today, like single sign-on, user provisioning, the account capture, custom data retention. So except for the reporting feature that I showed, all of those features that I talked about today are unique to the company plan.
Great. Okay, and then we got another question here. Can I see the Zaps created by all the team members?
Yeah, as the admin, I'm going to assume that sort of means as the admin of the company account, can you see all of them? You can see all of the shared ones. So any Zap that has been shared, even if it hasn't been shared with you as the admin of the account, you can see those. Any of the private Zaps, though, those are private and only visible to the creator of those ones.
Great. Okay. If you have anything else, please feel free to type them in. We'll just hang out for a few more seconds here.
Just to answer Tamara's question here, kind of touched on it already, but can the owner of the account see all zaps? Like the admin of the account, the owner can see any of the shared zaps, but cannot see the private zaps of another member.
Great. Okay, and we just got another question, but you cannot limit people from creating private ones? Question?
That's correct. Yeah. Right now, there's no way to prevent people from creating private zaps.
Okay. All right. Well, if you have any other questions, please send them over to the support team, and we will be sending out an email after this, most likely tomorrow morning. So look out for that, and then you can sign up for your free trial. Thank you so much, Chris, and everyone else who joined us today, and have a happy Tuesday.